everyone, Loremaster of Sotek here, and it's time for more news on Shadows of Change. I'm going to have another couple videos coming about Shadows of Change stuff here in the coming days. One where I'm going to try and pitch an idea as far as maybe making Shadow of Change. There's a few things I think I would like them to look into adding in the near future to try and make the DLC really pack that extra punch that maybe can help better justify the price. But in any event, we're not going to worry about that. Today, we're going to worry about Yuan Bo. So last week, we talked a lot about the Changeling. This week, we're going to be talking about Yuan Bo. And next week, we're going to be talking about, of course, Mother Ostankia. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're dealing with here. So we've got Yuan Bo, the Jade Dragon. So it says, Yuan Bo, the Jade Dragon, rules over central Cathay and leads the court of celestial sorcerers. He is happy to be regarded as a mere bureaucrat, administrator, and scribe, as this allows him the freedom to conduct his true spy master duties in private. As a potent spellcaster with the ability to transform into a dragon at will, Yuan Bo is a fierce combatant on and off the battlefield. Able to soar above enemy lines confronting airborne units, he then utilizes a mix of spells from the lores of light, yin, and yang, and heavens on the ground to turn the tide of battle. Little wonder he's often mistaken for the Emperor of Grand Cathay. Alright, so pretty crazy mix of spells. He has yin and yang? That will be super interesting if so. That'd be very interesting if he like has a balanced relationship between the two. Matters of state. So what is this? Levy the provinces. Available actions. Okay. The courts act as per Yuan Bo's whim. Though never overtly cruel, Yuan Bo is a wrought iron leader with the power to do as he pleases, and he can embrace that influence with the Matters of State faction mechanic. Okay, so I'm guessing that's this little scroll thing here. This global system allows him to enact a range of actions upon provinces, settlements, armies, and characters to the benefit of Grand Cathay. He's aided by two new resources, stone and steel. With stone, Yuan Bo may grow and develop his empire through the construction of buildings, as well as removing treacherous diplomatic penalties, cracking down on corruption, and signing fiscal treaties. With steel, Yuan Bo's forces are empowered by conscripting reserves, turning garrisons into active armies. Interesting. Guaranteeing the success of a hero action, or by taking control of a neutral or allied army alongside many other perks. Oh, okay, that actually sounds... That's a lot of different stuff. That's a lot of different stuff. Stone and steel must remain in balance to ensure Yuan Bo's strategies can be orchestrated efficiently. With unique state actions locked behind the harmony of the two resources. Okay, so we can see here, I'm guessing stone is like the jade or green color, and then steel is the like steel color. And we can see that levy the provinces, which targets a settlement garrison, seems to cost 2 steel. So presumably he build these up somehow and then can use them to do things. So it looks like this is maybe this one looks like he's maybe adding the garrison to his army or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. Empower the compass. Oh, wow. Look at that. The compass is bigger. So it's got 8 directions now. Instead of only 4. Yuan Bo's whooshing compass hosts 8 directional states, 4 of which are unique to him that he may engage with, each offering sizable rewards and benefits. Tasked with traveling to critical locations and constructing relays to empower the compass, Yuan Bo acquires a new directional state with every relay constructed. In doing so, he may choose to direct the winds of magic towards a share, unlocking the ability to manipulate and harness the strength of any given province directly. Alternatively, he may direct the compass towards the broken lands, inspiring a fervor in the people of Cathay that helps forge an almighty alliance. Okay, it looks like they might have reworked the compass as well, because these are different than they used to be. The Celestial Lake used to be about growth, It looks like growth has been moved to the Nongcheng Basin. And the Celestial Lake is now control. It's control when it's passive. And then when it's active, it's plus 15% income from all buildings. And 40% chance of your winds of magic going up. Interesting. Okay, so... Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so it looks like they might have reworked a substantial amount of the compass. We can see there's 4 extra directions. They're locked. Like I said, it seems like you have to build certain buildings to activate them with Yuan Bo. I'm curious how this is going to interact with Miao Ying and Zhao Ming. I'm really hoping they've had some time to do some reworks with Cathay. Like maybe I actually enjoy the whooshing compass. My only issue with it is I have always felt that like some of the directions are flat out better than the others, and also it tends to rely more on the passives, or like the ability you get from filling up the meter tends to be more important than actively pointing the compass. This looks like they might have fixed that, where it looks like the passive buffs are like, they're noticeable, but they're not like crazy strong by any means. Like they're actually pretty meh. But hopefully the active bonus from pointing at them will be substantially better. So we can see here the Celestial Lake is almost full for its passive, but it's only giving +1 control to all your provinces. But while you're actively pointed at the Celestial Lake, you're gaining 15% extra gold faction-wide from all buildings and a 40% increased chance of magic being strong. Like, economically, especially once you've gotten a decent number of provinces and you're really, like, min-maxing your economy in certain provinces, that could be a substantial increase on income for simply just redirecting the compass. I really am hoping that they've done that with... I really hope they've reworked with what all the active bonuses are. Especially like the Warpstone Desert. The Warpstone Desert was terrible. So hopefully that one's been substantially redone. I am very interested to see this. I'm also curious how this is going to interact with Miao Ying and Zhao Ming. Like, so they've said the 4 new directions are unique to Yuan Bo, but I'm curious if they will benefit from it. Or if it's just, you don't even notice them. Because I will say, one of my biggest fears with the DLC, especially in light of its high price, is that sometimes when we get a new DLC, the mechanics that you get are super awesome and fun, but they're only for that faction, and like nobody else in the race really benefits from any of the new goodies. I personally tend to prefer when the faction mechanics are not quite as ridiculous. That way it allows for more focus and effort on the rest of the race. But hopefully they've managed to fit in some pretty strong Cathay reworks. The biggest thing for me will be seeing how the caravan mechanic has hopefully been updated, because Chaos Dwarf caravans are about 1 billion times more fun than the Cathayan caravans. Like, I do enjoy the Cathayan caravans, but the fact that you can't really control what the armies for those are like you can't add units to them. The only thing you can add are heroes, but you cannot add any other units to them. You just have to get lucky with encountering new units along your journey. And you also don't get like very many units from the other factions. And once again, it's random chance. Like, I much prefer the Chaos Dwarf system, where when you arrive at a final location, you get a badass new unit depending on where you go, which is super cool. And it's also like, if I recall correctly, it's also... Oh no, I think you got a choice as well sometimes. But like, you know, I would love if you successfully make like a delivery to Altdorf, you get a steam tank maybe, or like a unit of demigryphs. And if you like successfully go to Erengrad, maybe you get an elemental bear or a unit of bear cavalry. Or if you go to, I would just like new units for going to those locations, because that's what's going to let those armies survive, especially the late game. Because the problem with the Cathayan caravans is you inevitably will get to the point where you just cannot, it is extremely difficult to successfully get your caravans to their final destinations, because you will have war declared on you by a lot of those factions. It's usually a longer journey than the Chaos Dwarf ones, and your armies are substantially smaller and weaker. So hopefully they have done some nice updates there. Lions of Jade and Jet. 2 unique guardian lions will join Grand Cathay in Shadows of Change. Living statues formed from jade or jet, the lions are enormous, pristine, and magical entities that serve masterfully. The Jade Lion is a magical conduit, a spellcaster capable of providing supporting sorcery across the battlefield. It is boosted by the Jade Conduit ability that grants an increase to their power recharge rate, plus with the Jade Dragon's Breath, a unique bound spin on a Cathayan classic. The Jade Lion coats the enemy in green flames, violently tipping the scales of harmony towards Yang. Okay, so that's cool. So it's a big green lion. It increases your winds of it increases how fast you have access to all of your winds of magic in a battle, and it has a bound spell, fire breath attack, which is cool. The Jet Line, on the other hand, exists to balance its owner's yang with its own yin. Rather than serve as a conduit to friendly magic, the Jet Lion is instead a blocker for the opposition's spells. Using the Guardian Shield passive ability, the Jet Lion buffs the magic resistance of all surrounding allied units, while deflecting projectiles back towards those that dare cast them with the bound Missile Mirror spell. Oh, okay. Okay, that's pretty cool. So it has Missile Mirror as a bound spell, which is it's a really good spell if you can get it off properly. And then it gives spell resistance to nearby units. So it kind of sounds like the Jade Line is significantly better than the Jet Line as far as like what it passively does on the battlefield. Like, I would much rather have an AoE damage ability and get access to my Winds of Magic faster than have spell resistance on nearby units and Missile Mirror, which can be kind of difficult to pull off. I'm curious what else they're going to have to them to separate them apart. Presumably, they will not have the same stat line because, like, Yang tends to be more offensive and Yin tends to be more defensive. But we'll have to see. I do love the design of the unit, though. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous model. And then, ooh, I really like the dragon motif emblem thing. The Zhangu War Drum. Grand Cathay commonly mount war drums above their city gates to be struck when troops are to be roused for battle. However, the time has come to take the music on tour with the Zhangu war drums. Roll the drums onto the battlefield atop a chariot and pound your troops to victory with its thunderous beat, strong support bonuses, and harmony amplification. With the disdain for the Dragon Emperor ability, the drums grant a huge area of effect buff to allied units, rendering them immune to psychology and increasing their melee power. Ooh, that's quite nice. For those seeking an armor buff, the Bastion of the Great City's ability does just that. Then when it's time to charge into battle, Fury of the Falling Blade grants 15% to speed and magical attacks to all friendly units within earshot. Wow, okay, I really like that. So I'm assuming there's some form of interaction. Like I'm assuming some of these you have to activate. But I really like giving a big armor buff. Cathay is not really the most heavily armored faction, so a big fat armor buff is good. And then a 15% bonus to speed and magic attacks. That is going to be so nice when you're fighting demons. Like if you're playing it, like honestly, I know this is for Yuan Bo's DLC, but like with Miao Ying and defending the wall, this would be so nice to get against all the chaos factions you fight in the north. Because that's gonna help immensely for smacking demons on the butt. I do like this model a lot. It's pulled. It looks like it's essentially pulled by Oxen, just like the Wuxing War Compass. I will say, considering that it has harmony amplification, which means that it kind of acts like a character, I really hope this can be a character mount for somebody. This just looks like some guy. This looks like the generic version of it. But just like you could take the Whooshing War Compass as a regular unit, or you can mount an Astromancer on it. I would, you know what I would like to see is I would like to see the Grand Magistrates or Lord Magistrate. The Lord Magistrate able to ride this as a mount would be really nice, because the Lord Magistrate right now, like he's a support character. That's his whole gimmick. Like he's an okay fighter, but not really. He's not particularly tanky. You know, his whole thing is that he's supposed to be there to gives the best harmony buff in the game, second to only your legendary lords in human form. But that's like his gimmick, is that he buffs your harmony buffs and they also lead your caravans. So I would absolutely love, I would really like to see the Lord Magistrate get this as a mount option, because right now he can either be on foot, on a horse, or he could be on he could be on a Sky Lantern. But when he's on the Sky Lantern, he's like ridiculously exposed. Granted, he'll be much easier to defend now with the Onyx Crowmen, in addition to your Jade Lancers. But it would be really nice if he had this as his like ultimate mount, where you can get him on a war drum where he's like signaling for people to do shit, and he's able to provide like these big buffs. That would be really nice. I would like that a lot. Onyx Crowmen. As agents of the Moon Empress, the Onyx Crowmen are elite spies for the Cathay realm. These vicious creatures with a humanoid winged appearance, sharp beaks, and sharper claws also boast eye-covered bodies for heightened visibility. Be sure to keep an eye out for them. Wait, do they have multiple eyes? I only see 2, unless, like, those look like gems. I'll have to look at them in game when we can do that. Yeah, if it turned out they have like extra eyes somewhere else on their body, that would be absolutely gross, but awesome. I would love that a lot if that turned out to be true. Ugh. Yeah, because I think I've seen somewhere. I don't remember where it is, but I could swear I've seen a quote about the Crowmen that calls them the many-eyed Crowmen. Instead of just the Onyx Crowmen. I want to say I've seen somewhere that it was the many-eyed Onyx Crowmen. So if they had multiple eyeballs or some other way that allows them to like see everywhere at once, that would be amazing. I would actually really like that. Use these cost-effective scouts well in battle by taking advantage of their Eyes of the Empress passive, granting them a considerable buff to visibility and spotting range, allowing them to stalk their prey from a distance. I do like that. That's really nice. So extra visibility to help out with your war machines and allow your war machines to see really far. And also spotting range means that they're better at finding stalking units. So they're going to be better at finding stealth enemies so you don't get snuck up on as easily. Very cool. And then the Celestial General. Only the most powerful beings rise to the rank of Celestial General. Each general is a skilled warrior wielding weapons gifted from the armories of Wei Jin. Leading from the front, strategy is not necessarily their forte. That's left to the wizards and magistrates of Cathay. With their active ability, Celestial Sweep, the general swings its mighty hammer in a wide arc, dealing extreme amounts of armor-piercing damage. The passive ability, Will of the Dragons, increases leadership, emboldening those who fight beside them, while the unique active ability, Lord of Grand Cathay, increases the resolve and morale of nearby units while buffing melee defense and physical resistance. Very nice. As a skilled warrior with sweeping melee attacks and leadership support capabilities, the Celestial General is the ideal lord to lead any battle. I do like that. I think a melee, like a dedicated melee lord for Cathay is fantastic. I still feel like for the DLC price, I still would have liked a generic hero. I would have really loved. There have been mentions of like whooshing monks. There have been mentions of the ancestral monks of Shiyama, who defend like the ancestral courts of death beneath, around or beneath the Dragon River. There's been mentions of the shadow casters of the Moon Empress, who apparently create the Onyx Crowmen. I think any of those, and there's also the Jade-blooded sorcerers of I forget what city they're from, but they're from one of the cities in near Miao Ying's start position, who are like the most gifted at wielding the wind of water, or the elemental wind of water, aka the wind of life, in Grand Cathay. Any of those would have been, I think, fantastic new heroes. Personally, I would have loved a dedicated melee combatant. Though, like, you know, you can kind of argue that the Astromancer and the Alchemist are kind of pseudo melee characters, though not really. You know, the Astromancer is more your classic wizard, though he can get up on the whooshing compass for some really cool, unique abilities and buffs. And then the Alchemist has her, she has her unique abilities to like buff enemy weapons or allied weapons, which I love. I love the Alchemist because it's like, oh, it's not just a wizard; it's a wizard and it's a melee combatant and it's a support character because of that, which is really solid. So that being said, I do like the Celestial General a lot. Having a very heavily armored Cathayan General with a big fuck you hammer, great. But should have come with a hero as well. All right, up next, keep your eyes to the skies for our upcoming Yuan Bo showcase that will detail what this Grand Spy Master of Cathay is truly capable of. Beyond that, a cautious and ill-advised trip into the woods of Kislev to uncover the truth behind Mother Ostenkia waits. Fear this one, for those that stray into the shrubberies are seldom seen. Bring us a shrubbery! Yeah, I really like what Cathay is getting out of this. I think, well, I won't know until I play it, but I feel like when you're considering adding on to what you already have, I feel like Cathay is getting the best situation where they're getting a really strong support piece that works with their harmony and provides some really solid buffs. They're getting a new flying unit that seems like it's more lower tier as far as like it's easy to get them relatively quick. And they also like have really high visibility, really high vision, and like they're melee combatants, so they're gonna be able to, because Cathay's problem in my opinion has always been that they have some really cool flying things like with all their balloons and stuff, but they don't really have enough air melee units to defend them. So I think the Onyx Crowmen are going to be a massive benefit to almost all of the Cathayan armies. And then they're getting 2 new monsters with the double lion. So like as far as units go, I really feel like Cathay is making out very well. And then of course the big melee general. Like I'm happy with all the units we're getting. I do want to say that, with the exception that the Zhangu should be cooler looking. But other than that, like I'm really happy with everything we're getting. Yuan Bo looks very interesting. He looks very interesting. But yeah, let me know what y'all think down below. I think I don't know when they're going to be releasing the Yuan Bo showcase video. Assuming it is not tomorrow, then tomorrow I should be releasing a video about maybe how to make this DLC. Like what things can they do to really make this DLC feel worth it? Because I don't think they're going to change the price. They haven't even like addressed the community at all. They're just kind of playing silent and just ignoring everything, which isn't surprising. But you know, try and make the best of a bad situation is always my go-to strategy. So, and this isn't the first time this has happened, funny enough. A lot of people forget because it's the internet and they have short memories, but like this is not the first time we've been down the road of a DLC not providing enough to justify its price. And last time we actually did convince them to add stuff afterwards to make things better. So maybe we can pull that trick. Maybe we could pull that hat trick off again. But in any event, thank you all for watching. I will say I am very excited for Yuan Bo. I really like his design. I think I'm most excited for Mother Ostenkia, but that's just because there's a lot more history and a lot more exploration of things that we already know with her. But I am very excited for Yuan Bo and all that stuff. Anywho, I'll see you guys tomorrow at the latest. So yeah, take care. Bye-bye.